I'm a paid speaker that's spoken at over 100 companies, but recording this unscripted video right here, this is doing some flips in my insides that performing in front of thousands of people never could. Let's talk about the self-trust gap that nobody sees. My mentor issued a challenge. And of course, with any challenge, you can opt out or opt in. And the challenge was either appear on YouTube for 100 days straight or 1 year. 100 days or 1 year. And my instinct said, I can do this, I can show up. But the idea of showing up without a script, I had no idea what it was going to do to me until I actually pressed record. Full disclosure, this is probably the 6th video that I've recorded. The first 5 had nothing to do with this. And when I started to examine what is happening in my body, why is there so much anxiety coursing through me at the idea of showing up on YouTube to people who may never even see this, why is this giving me such a hard time? And I realize it's because I don't have a script, because I have to rely on what I'm saying being enough without it being perfectly polished, without me going over it a bunch of times or rehearsing it as I do with every talk that I give. This is me deciding to be raw and vulnerable without the perfect lighting or a perfect setup and trying to hold your attention, but also build my own level of self-trust. So that's why I scrapped the other videos, and maybe I'll get to it at another point. But the topics I talk about are centered around visibility. In fact, I have frameworks talking about the idea of visibility specific to women, to those that are first and onlys in the room, like myself. I'm a first-gen Latina from New York City. No one in my family was ever in a corporate boardroom before. I had to figure out how to navigate those things on my own, sometimes badly, sometimes choppily, but I was able to do it. And now that I've started my own business, I help other people do this same thing. Build a personal brand, develop their thought leadership, and most importantly, cultivate the communication and executive presence that they need to get visibility and ultimately recognition. But I'm sitting here right now in front of you, freaking out about not having a script. And that's why these videos for the next 30 days are going to be about developing self-trust. Because I thought I understood how visibility can feel uncomfortable. I thought I understood the general discomfort people might have with public speaking. It's the number one fear. People fear public speaking more than they fear death. So of course, that made sense to me. Cognitively, it made sense to me. But in practice, sitting here right now, where in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, does this need a thumbnail? Is it going to be the right thumbnail? What I need more in this season than ever is to build my self-trust. For the past few years, I have built this business, and it has been exciting and frustrating and maddening and rewarding all at the same time. And the majority of my business is done through public speaking, going into corporations and companies and delivering messages to employees to help them get both the visibility and recognition that they need to develop their leadership muscles. The other part of my business is working with people one-on-one who either want to deliver signature talks, they want to be able to become better communicators, or they want to be able to get to the next rung in the work that they do. So now I'm sitting here in this very real position of thinking, what does it look like to show up as myself, unscripted, not knowing what's going to come out of my mouth, trying to do as little editing as possible around this video to be able to show you that I can walk in the shoes, even in this stage in my life, even in this big age, even having 20 years of experience working in marketing for Fortune 500 companies. I want to be able to take this journey of self-trust and trust that I can say and speak and talk to things without having the safety net of slides behind me or a script in front of me or something that I've performed and rehearsed and memorized a dozen times before. So if you are someone who's looking to tap into your self-trust, maybe it's to reach the next goal, maybe it's the self-trust to leave a relationship that has expired, to move into another career, to decide to go back to school, to have a tough conversation. Before we can do anything, there's a fundamental level that needs to happen, which is to develop not just the self-trust, but also the identity of someone who can take these bold swings, of someone who can do the scary thing, the unplanned thing. I'm someone who takes calculated risks. When I think of this idea of taking a risk, of putting something down, really, when I explore that and I ask myself, why does this feel so uncomfortable? It's the idea of visibility of what you may think about me, what I might think of myself when I watch this back. But the message that I want to share to you, the message that I want you to know that not enough people talk about, is that there are very few decisions in life that can't be undone. I can post this video right now and it can post to crickets, or for some reason it can go everywhere within the YouTube verse, and you can see it and share with someone else and share with someone else, and thousands of people might see this video. But regardless of the outcome, if it's crickets or thousands or somewhere in between, if I don't like it, I can always decide to take it down. So in this experiment of self-trust I'm going to be developing, I also want you to know that there are very few decisions that we make that we can't unwind. There's very few decisions that we can't decide. I went left yesterday, I'm going to go right today. And so that's what this is about. This idea of getting comfortable with myself, with who I am and how I want to say things, and my humor and my sarcasm, and trusting that I'm not going to always be liked. Trusting that I could do this entire experiment for the next 30 days with the hopes of it becoming 100, and maybe somewhere along the way, I give up on it. Maybe somewhere along the way, it starts to feel too uncomfortable. But my hope and the goal that I have for myself is that by showing up in this way, I'm going to not only put myself in the shoes of the audience members that I speak to, or the people that I work with one-on-one, but I am going to put myself in your shoes so that now when I'm having the conversations with you and I know the feelings and sensations that are coming up in your body, I can say that I've lived them too. I can say that I've experienced those very things that you might be feeling and what I was able to do to overcome them. But I know, regardless of what happens, is that I am going to come out with more information and data about myself. I'm going to come out with, hopefully, unshakable self-trust that I can do something uncomfortable, that I can expose myself, and I can trust that I have enough expertise and knowledge and skill set to put out these videos without a script, without knowing fully what's going to come out of my mouth. And again, daily, committing to myself, and in committing to myself, becoming the person that does this. Becoming the person that can communicate and hold attention and tell a story and show up even when it feels risky, even when there's the perception of danger, even when I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing. So if this resonates with you and you are looking to tap into your level of self-trust and you're realizing that maybe you are asking opinions of too many people, relying on effort instead of self-expression, then rock with me for the next 30 days, and maybe you'll also learn something about yourself. So thanks for being here. Let's see where it goes. Peace.